From the left, the globalists want to keep the borders open because as workers of the world unite. And this is the underclass they think will vote for Democrats for generations. Let's close the borders, secure the borders, have aggressive immigration legally, where we vet the people who come here, we keep out the drug dealers, the criminal gangs, the murderers, the thieves, the terrorists, and those who would subvert and destroy the United States because we're not wise enough or prudent enough to secure our borders. A nation which cannot secure its borders is headed to destruction. From the right, the globalists think that, David Rockefeller, and I document David Rockefeller in the book at length. He thinks, well, his corporations work in 35 countries. So our currency, our laws are speed bumps, and he'd like to see them eliminated. This, again, allows us to have a rush to the bottom for labor. We allow the multinational corporations to say, you can have slaves or near slaves in China or India, whatever country work for you, then no American has a job. Because someone somewhere in the world will work cheaper than us. And we should have and do not any longer enforce our anti-dumping provisions in our trade agreements, which keep out goods where countries like China compete by subsidizing their currency, exploiting labor, and hiring people who are going to be exploited by nature when they're 20 years old. There's a 13-year-old in China that'll do that job cheaper. The goods exported are defective, if not outright dangerous, and yet we allow China to produce the goods, ignoring all the normal restraints that would have made China and international trade outlaw. So I write a chapter called Exporting Jobs While Importing an Underclass. That's the globalist formula. In the globalist world, there is no middle class. There is a massive poverty base that is there to be exploited and subservient to the government. And a few at the top who own and rule and manage everything, the oligarchs. And of course, all the globalists I cite in this book, Soros, Brzezinski, a number of economists like Joseph Stiglitz or Robert Mundell, none of them expect that they're going to be in the underclass. They're proposing globalism because they think they're the winners. The losers are we the people. The reason the Constitution Party is so important is because it's not yet, even at this late hour, too late. If Congress realizes a fundamental thing, and that is, if you're in office, we're voting you out. First, let's get rid of all the Democrats. They're in power now. Let's vote Democrat, vote for somebody else. See a Democrat on the ballot, don't vote for them. Okay, now the Republicans get in. They don't listen to we the people. I'll be here next saying, if they're Republican, vote them out. Because they're no better. Let's get Constitution Party members in there who understand limited government. Start creating symbols which show Democrats no, Republicans no. Democrats no, equal Republicans no. Get those images in front of people's minds. All under ConstitutionParty.com. The movement of the 9th and 10th Amendments, the Tea Parties, these are starting a process where there's going to be a half a dozen states maybe worth living in. And as the United States moves in a direction, we the people have got to stand up to Congress and say, look, under this limited government, maybe we'll outsource all of you to China. And see how many want to keep their jobs. My current plan for the Department of Health, Human Services, and the Department of State is to move them to Beijing. with full rights of anybody who wants to go to continue their jobs. On their pay scale, on the Chinese pay scale. This is the kind of thinking we're going to have to do in order to take America back. But the reason I wrote America for Sale, the reason I put a third of this book into strategies that include agreeing with Ron Paul, let's shut down and close the Federal Reserve. We can print our own money through the Treasury. John Kennedy did it with those Red Seal bills. We can regulate interest rates through the market. We don't need anyone to do it. Let's quit running these deficits. Let's reduce the government. Let's create an international dollar based on gold. We do not have to abandon the United States of America to be in a global economy. If we abandon the United States of America, we will be doing a disservice to those Americans, men and women, buried in Arlington, who did not die for the European Union or the North American Union or the World Trade Organization or the United Nations or the International Monetary Fund. They fought and died for the United States of America. And we pledge here in the Constitution Party that the United States of America will remain as a sovereign nation, dedicated to liberty with limited government. And we'll do what we can, knowing that we will succeed. Because in my heart, I do not believe that God allowed the United States of America to be created from principles our founding fathers believed derived from natural right, our nature as human beings. That this constitutional republic will pass from the earth without a struggle. And I resolve in books like America for Sale, speaking here with the Constitution Party, joining with you, that we will fight to preserve, protect, and defend the United States of America. God bless you all.